Okay, let's kick this off. Imagine, think about Niagara Falls. Now, picture something almost twice as wide with way more water. We're talking like 1.3 million liters every single second.
That's just staggering, isn't it? That's
Yeah.
Iguazu Falls in Argentina.
Exactly. And that's just our starting point for this deep dive into Argentina's highlights. We're basing this on an article you shared, 10 best attractions in Argentina, 10 most today, from back in August 2013.
Yeah, and it's not just the sheer power, like with Iguazu. It really hints at the huge river systems behind it, you
Right.
know. The geology is pretty impressive.
Right. So you sent this over wanting to get a clearer picture of what makes Argentina's attractions so special.
Hmm.
Our goal here is really to give you those aha moments, those surprising details, but without, making it feel like homework, just the key stuff so you feel well informed.
Exactly. And looking at why these specific places made the list in 2013 gives us context. It's not just about pretty views. There's usually a story or something unique going on.
Okay, so let's dive back into Iguazu Falls. We mentioned the crazy water flow, but its location right on the border of Argentina and Brazil, that seems important.
Oh, definitely. It's not just a line on a map. That shared location shapes the whole experience, the ecosystem,
Yeah.
and the scale. It's at almost 2 kilometers wide.
Yeah, the article says about 2 kilometers wide, made up of around 275 separate waterfalls.
And being named one of the new seven wonders of the world, that speaks volumes about its global impact and just, well, its natural beauty.
Truly wonder-worthy. Okay, let's shift gears from all that water to solid ice. The Perito Moreno Glacier. This sounds like a huge draw for El Calafate. Why is that?
Well, Perito Moreno is interesting because it's so accessible, relatively speaking.
Yeah.
About 48 miles from El Calafate. But the real kicker is that it's one of the few glaciers in the world that's still advancing.
Advancing, really, not retreating.
Yeah, advancing. And that movement is what causes those massive chunks of ice to break off and crash into Lake Argentina.
Uh,
It's incredibly dramatic. People travel just to see that happen.
yeah. I bet. The article mentions boat tours and viewing areas on land. Is there a best way to see it?
They offer different things, really. The boat tours get you quite close to that towering ice wall. You feel the scale. And you might get lucky and see a big calving event up close.
Okay.
But the boardwalks, the land viewing areas, they give you these amazing panoramic views. You see the whole glacier stretching out, 30 kilometers long?
Wow, 19 miles. That's huge.
Yeah. And you see how it sits in the landscape.
Mhm.
And then for the really adventurous types, you can actually walk on parts of the glacier. With guides, of course.
Walking on it. Okay, that's definitely going on the list. Right from ice to rock. Mount Fitzroy. Sounds like it attracts quite a mix of people.
It really does. That's part of its magic.
Yeah.
It's near El Chalten, right in the southern Patagonian ice field. Just this vast ice expanse with these sharp peaks jutting out.
Sounds stunning.
And Fitzroy is super popular for hiking. There are trails for pretty much everyone, so lots of people do day trips from El Calafate or stay in El Chalten. But it's also legendary for serious mountaineers. It wasn't even climbed until 1952, and it's still considered one of the hardest technical climbs in the world. The granite is sheer, and that Patagonian weather is famously unpredictable.
So, amazing views whether you're strolling or scaling a cliff face.
Got it.
Okay, let's head to somewhere that sounds maybe a bit more relaxing. Bariloche. The article says tourists should plan to stay a couple of nights.
Ah, Bariloche.
Yeah.
San Carlos de Bariloche. It's interesting because it feels almost alpine, right there in Argentina.
Alpine.
How so? Well, there's a strong history of European settlers, especially Swiss and German.
Mhm.
You see that in the architecture, lots of wood, sort of Swiss chalet style. And the chocolate shops. Bariloche is famous for its chocolate.
Chocolate and chalet. Oh.
But it's not just a cute town.
Hmm.
It's the gateway to incredible lakes, mountains, skiing in winter, hiking in summer. It's that mix of charming town and amazing nature right there. That's the appeal.
I wouldn't have guessed Swiss chocolate in Argentina. All right, totally different vibe now. Buenos Aires, the capital. The article calls it the starting point for many tours. What's the draw?
Well, being the capital and the biggest city, it's naturally the main hub, culturally, economically. The article mentions the European-style architecture, which is really noticeable, a lot of history there. And beyond the buildings, you've got amazing food, gourmet cuisine, it says, and really vibrant nightlife. It's where most people first land, get their first taste of Argentina. So yeah, spending a few days makes sense.
A big city feel with that South American energy.
Okay.
From the heart of the country to the very edge. Ushuaia, the world's southernmost city, sounds remote.
It absolutely is.
Mm.
And that remoteness is part of its story. It used to be a penal colony because it was so isolated right at the tip of South America.
Wow, a penal colony.
Yeah, it adds a bit of dark history. But now, it's a major tourist spot. It's the main jumping off point for cruises to Antarctica.
Oh,
Plus, you've got winter sports nearby and incredible wildlife viewing opportunities.
yeah.
There's just something about saying you've been to, the end of the world.
Definitely has a certain ring to it. Okay, let's travel back up the coast a bit. Puerto Madryn. The article mentions it mainly as the gateway to Peninsula Valdez. What's the deal there?
So, Puerto Madryn itself is on the Golfo Nuevo. Nice beaches, popular in summer. But its main claim to fame, tourist-wise, is being the base for exploring Peninsula Valdez.
And Peninsula Valdez is special because,
Wildlife. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's one of the best places in the world, really, to see marine mammals. Southern right whales breed there. Huge colonies of penguins, sea lions, elephant seals. It's just teeming with wildlife.
okay, so Puerto Madryn is your door to incredible nature encounters.
Hmm.
Got it. Now, further up the coast again, Mar del Plata, top beach resort city. Sounds pretty straightforward.
It kind of is, in a good way. Think classic beach destination. It's on the Atlantic coast in Buenos Aires province, and it's the place many Argentinians go for their summer holidays.
Right.
Millions of people flock there every year for the sandy beaches, the piers, the restaurants, the lively summer culture. It's a big, bustling, traditional seaside resort.
The quintessential Argentine beach experience. Okay, shifting inland now. Cordoba, second biggest city, and the article highlights Spanish colonial buildings.
Yeah, Cordoba is interesting because it has this really strong historical core. It was a major center during the Spanish colonial era, especially for the Jesuit order.
Jesuits.
And there's an area called the Jesuit Block or Manzana Jesuitica right in the city center. It's packed with these beautifully preserved colonial buildings, churches, university buildings, residences. It's another UNESCO site, actually.
Ah, okay. So a real slice of history.
Exactly. It gives you a totally different perspective on Argentina's past compared to, say, Patagonia or Buenos Aires. A deep dive into that colonial heritage.
Fascinating. Okay, last one on the list. Mendoza. Sound like it covers two big bases, wine and mountains.
It absolutely does, and its location is why. It's nestled on the eastern side of the Andes. That gives it, first, the perfect conditions for growing grapes. It's the heart of Argentina's wine country, famous globally for Malbec.
Right, Malbec, Mendoza.
Got it. But then look west, and you've got the Andes looming right there, including Aconcagua, the highest peak in the Americas.
Wow. Highest peak.
Yeah. So that means amazing scenery, obviously, but also loads of outdoor adventure possibilities. Hiking, climbing, horseback riding, even whitewater rafting on the rivers coming down from the mountains.
So you can go wine tasting in the morning and hike in the Andes in the afternoon.
Pretty much. It really does offer that blend. Great appeal for wine lovers and outdoor enthusiasts alike.
Okay, so from the thunder of Iguazu Falls, the ice of Perito Moreno, the peaks of Fitzroy, the charm of Bariloche, the buzz of BA, the end-of-the-world feel of Ushuaia, wildlife, beaches, history in Cordoba, and wine and mountains in Mendoza. Wow.
Yeah.
It really covers a lot of ground, doesn't it? This article, even from 2013, gives you a real sense of the sheer variety Argentina offers.
Absolutely it does. It lays out this incredible tapestry, massive natural wonders, culture-rich cities, deep history. It really shows why it's such a compelling place for travelers, a really solid overview.
So for you listening in, hearing about all these places, did one in particular jump out at you? Maybe the power of the falls, or the idea of walking on a glacier, or perhaps the European feel of Buenos Aires or Bariloche. Hopefully this deep dive gives you a good starting point, sparks some curiosity for your own exploring.
And maybe it leaves you with this thought. When you see this incredible diversity packed into one country, these dramatic landscapes, these different cultural flavors, how does all of that come together to shape what Argentina is? Its unique identity on the world stage. Something to think about, definitely.